Hi and welcome to Python tutorial of a compounding interest rate calculator. Now let me show you guys how this works. You see, for 7 years, this is the interest that you will get. If you subtract this from this, you should get quite a lot of interest for 7 years. That's at 6%. At 3%, this is what you get. Without interest, that's what you get. And if it's minus 3, this is what you get. Minus 6, that's what you get. So supposing we say the interest you intend to invest it for about 3 years, let's see what's going to happen to the interest rate here at 6%. Let's see, you see that. So you really don't get much, except let's say you decide to invest it for approximately 23 years. That's what you get. You get approximately 13,000 plus at 6% rate, 6,000 plus at 3% rate. So you can even clear and maybe add another one, and let's say we want to go for about 27 years there. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is to take you guys straight into Python development environment, and let's put one of these together, guys. Now let's do that. Okay, let's start this tutorial by importing the following from tkinter. I'm going to import as follows. Now the next thing I'm going to do is create a class, and that very class I'm going to just call it interest, and enter a column there. And right underneath here I'm going to define as follows. So that is going to be underscore initialize underscore open a bracket self comma root there, and let's enter a column there. Okay, the next thing I want to do now is to define the root, the title, geometry, and the back color. Now I'm going to just draw a line here, and here I'm going to just enter frame, and for the very first frame I'm going to call that main frame, and main frame, the widget is going to be known as frame, and it's going to be inside self dot root, and it's going to have a border. That's the width, the height, y-axis padding, x-axis padding, and that's my color right here. The next thing I'm going to now do is I'm going to just say dot grade here, dot grade there. The next thing is I'm going to create two other frames, so let's copy that and just change the names around there, and let's just change the details of those around. One is going to be for the left and the other one is going to be for the right, and we just speed that up, guys. And there we go, guys. I'm going to then create some other inner frames that will be inside these very frames. Those inner frame is going to be known as left 0 and right. Copy that and just paste it right underneath here. This is going to be 0 0, and the right I'm just going to call that 1 1, and the 0 I will have 1 4. Let's come down here, and this is going to be 1 1 2 2. There we go, and it's going to be resident right inside the left frame. So let's take care of that. Left frame, and the other one is going to be right frame right there, guys. So let's just tidy it up. Okay, so the next thing is I'm just going to add a break there, and I will now add, let's say, a variable that's going to be the very first one. So I'm going to say the variable is string parenthesis and another one that would be 2 string as well there. And now I'm going to run it, but before I run it, let me just round up the whole system. So right underneath here, there we go. So let's save it first. Save as compound interest rate calculator. Okay, I'm going to save it right in here and just click on save. There we go. So let's run it and see how that's going to look like before we continue. Okay, we have an error. Let's check that out. Frame grid, wrong spelling. Let's see, where is that? It's right up here where we have the main. There we go. Let's just correct that. Right. Okay, it's corrected. So let's make sure it's running how we expect. See, there we go. Alright, that's fine. So the next thing I'm going to do now, since the frames are all created, I'm just going to add the widget. So I'm going to copy all of these. And this will be for my, let's add another one. This will be for, let's say we have buttons here. And this will be for text widget or entry widget and labels. There. Okay, right underneath here, the very first widget that I'm going to enter will be for the title. So let's say self.lbl title, and the case of title, that will be equals label, and there. So that is for my title. This title is actually resident right inside the left frame here, and that is the title that I will have in the interest rate calculator. And the color is black. Get rid of that. It doesn't have to be stated because the default color is black anyway. And I've made the back color powdered blue because I officially have a powdered blue in there. So if I run it now, this is what you guys will see. There we go. Now the second frame here, let's enter the following. So I'm going to copy this label. I'm going to be using that for my title. Just paste it right underneath here. Come right down here, and then just enhance the appearance and so on. This second label, I'm just going to call that balance. So that will be the balance deposited by the customer. Okay, now, and this will be frame number 2. And right in here, I'm just going to change this to, let's say, please enter the initial balance. There. Okay, so let's just enhance it. I'm going to get rid of these first and just see how it looks like before I do any other thing. And let's say this is equal to 2, and align it. Let's say justify equals left. Okay, one other thing that I need to do is this will be, I'm just gonna say grade row equals 0 and comma the column equals 0 as well. Okay, all right, I'm going to copy that very label, but before then let's run it and you see what I'm talking about. That is my label, and I need to add an entry widget here. So I'm just going to copy this and just change that around, paste it right underneath, and change this to txt txt here as well. Get rid of this, and this is going to be variable equals. Yeah, that's my very first variable that I declared, so that will be there. Okay, and this will be 1. Parking, get rid of the parking, and let's run it and see how it's going to look like. Okay, so that's fine. So let's come right down here, and now I'm going to copy this. Let's copy both and paste it right underneath here, and just change the row. This will be row 1 and 1 here. So let's run it and see how that is going to look. There we go. So all I just need to do now is change the text that I have in here. So that's going to be, please enter. Okay, please enter the number of, let's say, yes. Okay, run and see. There. Okay, close that. Alright, this is how it looks like. So what I'm going to do next is to create a text here, or that can even be, yeah, text, a label will be there, and a text instead of entry widget. So we paste that, okay, right in here, and there we go. That's the label. Have a good look at it, and that's the text that will be underneath the label. That's the width. We have the height there. So if I run it, this is how it's going to look like. There we go. And right here underneath here, I'm going to now add my buttons, and right there, guys, those are the buttons. I have 3, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, have a good look at it. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just run it, and you see how it's gonna look like there. Okay, but nothing is happening. Now let's take care of the functions. I'm going to paste the functions right underneath here. Let's copy this. I already have my variable in place, so right underneath the variable, paste that, and here this will be for the functions. Okay, the very first function I'm going to take care of, let's go for the reset. Enter parentheses and a column, and the reset will be, let's clear the following, and that is going to be dot. There, the first one is taken care of. We take care of the second one. Copy that, change the value to second. Right, now I need to be able to take care of this very one. Let's distribute dot self. Okay, we need to take care of, yeah, the txt rate table. So as for the txt rate table, that is going to be dot delete, open a bracket, let's say 1.0 and end there. So let's run that and see how that is going to work. But before then, we need to call that very command here. Let's say command equals reset. So that's the reset. So let's run it and see. Okay, enter some value in there. Reset, that's good, that's working. So let's take care of exit, and right underneath the reset are the lines of code for exit. Okay, I'm now going to call this very command there. So let's go straight to the button here, and underneath here I'm going to say command equals that. There. Now let's take care of the main function that will carry out the calculation for the compound interest calculator. So the very first thing I'm going to declare will be the balance, and I'm going to just say inside this balance I'm going to initialize the very first balance there, comma, rate, comma, and number of year. There we go. Enter a column here. Now let's say final balance equals this very initial balance, then we're going to multiply that by, let's say, 1 plus the rate, divide that by 100, close the bracket, and then multiply, which that should give you the square, and close that. So let's say we have year, number of year. Okay, let's say number of years. Okay, now all we then need to do is just to return. Let's come right down here and just say return the final balance. Okay, now let's define the table. Let's say this is going to be the table that would display my compound interest. So this will be self. First of all, let me just clear whatever I have in there. So I'm going to copy all of these. So if there's anything, I'll get this indented properly. Let's see, I guess it's right. If there's any data inside that very table, the text widget itself, get rid of whatever I have in there. Then the balance, the initial balance equals, let's get it floated, whatever I have inside of that very value. This variable is the very first one here. Okay, so I'm calling up, I'm assigning a variable here, so I'm going to say get, and that goes inside the initial balance. Then we have the number of years, so let's grab the number of year as well, paste that in there and just copy, paste that in here. Number of years, that should actually be int. There's no way we can divide number of year, so we'll make that too, convert that to integer. Okay, right underneath here I'm going to use a for loop for rates in range as follows. So I'm going to make that -6, comma 9, comma 3. So let's declare as follows: b, my local variable which stands for the balance itself. So I'm going to say b is my balance equals as follows. So it's going to be initial balance, rate, and this. So let's just copy all of those, bang it in here, and let's just enter comma here. I don't need any of this, and there we go. So that makes life easy, and get rid of this. So if you want, you can always print it out, but I'm not going to bother to print it out. I'm going to print it straight onto my text widget there. So I'm going to say rate equals, give me a string value of a rate, and I will say IB, that would be for the balance, so that's going to be a string value of B. Now I'm going to say self dot rate table. So we want to now insert that straight into rate table dot insert, and what we are inserting is going to be as follows. That's rate, this stands for new line, rate, column, space, plus irate, plus, and that will be the pound sign, plus balance. Okay, and if that give me the balance, let's enter plus again. Now we need to output everything out. Okay, so output that out in pound sign into 2 decimal place, pound sign, let it be float, and what are we floating is going to be B, which is balance plus, and here I'm going to just enter, I think 1 should do, yeah, 1 space, and let's see how that's going to look like. What is left for me to do now is to copy this call this table inside my button rate here. So let's come down here and just enter comma command equals table. So let's run it and see how that's gonna look like. There, that's how the interface look like. Let's deposit some amount in there, and for how long? Let's say we're going to leave it in the bank for about 5 years. There we go, look at that. I'm gonna add more space to this. Let's give it 1 more lines. Okay, come right down here, you see where we have the line. Let's go back here, there, let's enter 1 more, return. So run it again. Well, before that, let me just show you guys the whole code again. Have a good look at it. Okay, that's where I declared my class, frames, variable declared, reset, exit. This is the balance that I'm using to calculate the interest rate there. And right here, the text, the label widget, and the entrum widget, those 2 that you saw earlier, and the text widget and label widget, then the buttons, and that's all there is to it. So let's run it 1 more time. There, enter whatever amount in there, and let's see how long you would like to invest that money for. 9 years. There we go. And that is how you create your own compound or compounding interest rate calculator using Python. I suppose you guys enjoyed this brief tutorial. You all have a nice day now, and please do subscribe, and you can always join to be a member of my channel. Bye for now.